You have a remarkably good relationship with your ex-wife, which is unusual in show business. How have you managed that? How have you managed to stay such good friends? You still work together, don't you?
We do. She's my manager. She has a management company. She's done extraordinarily well just on her own professionally. When we realized that we weren't meeting the expectation of marriage and that things were falling apart,
that was an interesting phrase. I read that a lot at the time.
Yeah.
What was your expectation of marriage?
My expectation of marriage, I don't quite know what my expectation of marriage was back then. I'd made a lot of mistakes, and I didn't have the ability or the wherewithal, I think, or the capacity to stop for a moment and say, God, I'm really screwing up. Let me just stop for a moment and let's talk about this. So I can't tell you what it was then. I can tell you today that I value a relationship. When I love you, I can really love you, whether it's my ex-wife, or my girlfriend, or my little girl, or my friends, my guys, my buddies, whatever it is. I value that relationship. I can value relationships today. So getting back to my ex and how we worked together, as we went through all that and went through divorce, and we all know our close friends and family have gone through divorce, and there's a period where we went through a lot of sludge, but you got through it. And I was very fortunate that I had her who had the wherewithal to say, okay, we're going to go through this and it's terrible, but there's somewhere on the other side, there's somewhere on the other side of this that we're going to become better. She's happily in a relationship. I'm happy in a relationship too. But it's so incredibly loving and seamless what we have. And the best part about it is the example we're setting for our little girl.
Who's the lucky girl in your life now then?
I can't tell you that. Cheers. Got to keep it private. I got to keep it private.
Out of all the clips I've ever analyzed, this is probably my favorite one. And the reason being is because it hits home with me in a way that my entire life I thought it never would. My parents were married for about 31 years, and they just got divorced a few years ago. I was a grown man, but still, even though when you're grown, it still is going to affect you, right? And at that time when they got divorced, I was really focused on my music career. I was focused on how am I going to build my business and get out of this job that I wasn't really particularly fond of. I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life as well, and I didn't have time to dedicate emotion to them for something that ended between them, because I wanted to make sure that I had a great relationship with my mom, I had a great relationship with my dad, and that didn't change. And I've heard a lot of divorce horror stories. I've seen a lot. My parents were married my entire life. So that was something that was very shocking to me, and it was something that I didn't know how I was going to deal with. And to see how they've handled it, man, like when I'm around my parents, when they're around my daughter, when I'm around my sister, when they're around each other, and they're around each other with their new mates, it's like nothing changed. We are still a family. And when I talk to people about this, they immediately jump to conclusions like, oh, what did your dad do? Or it's like, that's just so disrespectful. If somebody is talking to you about something going on in their personal life, specifically in their family, something like that, like don't put your own assumptions on it. People can still become friends or remain friends after divorces. You can still love someone after a divorce. All that means is that the romantic element of the relationship is gone, but the friendship and the loyalty and the accountability is still there. How can you be dedicated to somebody for that long and share what in my parents' life would be one of the greatest joys, which is having me, and just cut them off completely? And my parents didn't do that. They are still really, really good friends. They've known each other since they were teenagers, and my parents will be 60 next year. And to hear The Rock and his wife do the exact same thing and how they're doing it, this story needs to be told more. And I'm shocked it isn't, but I'm glad that I'm the person that is bringing this to a lot of y'all attention. So if you know anybody that's been through divorce or is going through a divorce, or, see it's pending, or they've been impacted by a divorce, send them this clip. Send them this clip just so they can see that, it ain't gotta be ugly. It ain't gotta be all on social media. It ain't gotta be salacious. It ain't gotta be damaging. It's just an evolution of life. People come in our life for seasons, and respect that person when they're in your life for that season. And when their season ends, thank them. You can continue to love them without it taking a piece of you, or without feeling like you're weak, or without feeling like you're a failure. Shout out to The Rock and Danny Garcia for this. I'm gonna talk about the business of what they do, but this is a great clip everybody needs to see. Y'all go ahead and share that. Hit like, hit save, follow, and subscribe.
My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond.
My name is Dorian from GroupA2University.com, and right here we got The Rock talking about him and his ex-wife make $400 million together. They were married for 11 years. They got divorced in 2009. They have a daughter together, as The Rock was talking about that. They started dating when they were in college at the University of Miami. If you know The Rock's story, you know his dad was a professional wrestler, and he's half black and part Samoan, so they didn't come from money, neither one of them. And The Rock was playing on the Miami football team at that time during the crazy Miami Hurricane heyday, but he wasn't the dude that was going to go to the NFL. And Dany Garcia was somebody who told herself, you know what, I'm going to be a millionaire so my family ain't got to suffer no more. And they met each other, and they were very like-minded when it came to business. You know, Dany majored in international business and finance. She ended up going to work on Wall Street for Merrill Lynch, and she had her own wealth management company when The Rock started to really take off once his wrestling career ended and he was transitioning into movies. And he started having a bunch of flops with his movies. Even though they were bringing in money, people were still dogging him, and it looked like his career was going to get derailed. And this is at the same time that their relationship was faltering. So this man is going to work every day not knowing if he's doing the best job. He's coming home into a house knowing he's not doing the best job, as he talked about in this clip. But you know what Dany did? She said, you know what, our relationship isn't working anymore. And The Rock agreed to that. But damn it, I'm about to be the manager of your career, and The Rock agreed to that too, because he knew that she wants him to be successful so their little girl can have a happy daddy. So Dany decided to be the manager of his career, and look at what happened since then. They started their own production company, $7 Productions, which if you know anything about The Rock, you know he has a great quote where he was talking about he went to the ATM one time and he only had $7 to his name. And he said, I'm broke as fuck right now, but one day I won't be. And that's what $7 Productions is about. And look at the movies that they've released under $7 Productions. Baywatch, all the Jumanji movies, Black Adam, which is about to come out, Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, his show Ballers on HBO. All of this was a part of $7 Productions that him and his ex-wife have worked together to make sure that they are elevating Dwayne Johnson to be the biggest movie star in the world like he is. Another thing they did was Siete Bucks Spirits. What does that mean? $7 Spirits. If you follow The Rock on Instagram, you know he's always talking about that damn tequila that his ex-wife and him own together, and it's on pace to sell 1 million cases. Another thing that they did together was Project Rock with Under Armour. You don't see too many actors or entertainers get their own product line with a major apparel company. Under Armour decided to bet on The Rock because obviously the brands integrate like hell, but Dany Garcia was the one that negotiated that and made sure that The Rock got everything. He got hoodies, he got shoes, he got pants, he got socks, he got all of that he worked together with his ex-wife. And just last year during the pandemic, they went and they bought the XFL. Go look at the tweets that they made about it after they did that deal. They are for real business partners that love each other and that respect each other and that don't want nobody else to be involved with their business, because they know if you've seen somebody at their worst that they can always trust each other. That's a hell of a fucking business manager to have. They are so integrated. At this point, Dany Garcia's new husband is The Rock's trainer, but he's keeping the money in the family. This is emotional maturity. This is business maturity. And we all can learn from this situation, man. When you break up with somebody, yeah, it gets ugly. It sucks for everybody. But how can you just sit around and just denigrate and be so disrespectful to somebody who you once would have died for? Grow up and move the fuck on. Like they did. Y'all want the negative shit. That shit's toxic. You can move on from somebody and still love them and still want them to win. If you're somebody who wants all of your exes to die or lose, you are a piece of shit, and nobody should ever date you. If you dating somebody that's acting immature after y'all break up, did they act immature when y'all started dating? You goddamn right they did. It's up to you to react to things in a certain way. What you put out is what you get back. Look at The Rock's career since 2009. His ex-wife has been in the driver's seat the entire time, and look at what it's done. Why can't that happen with you? Relationships end from either one or two ways. Y'all either break up or you die. If you watching this right now, you ain't dead. So it's a strong likelihood that you're probably gonna break up with the person who you with, or that you already broke up with that person. There's no reason to harbor negative energy. Nobody wins in that shit, especially if y'all got kids. Shout out Dwayne Johnson. Shout out Dany Garcia. Shout out Alton Kevin Clark. Shout out Deborah Lynn Clark. Y'all have been great examples to me in what post-love relationships should look like. And I hope everybody gains something from this clip. Like I said, it's one of the best videos I've ever seen. Hope it's one of the best ones I've ever done. I don't know. You on Instagram, click that link up top. You on YouTube, click the link in the box. Not the pod. Y'all stay true.
Here we go again, steady arguing. I swear to God, girl, I need this to end. I'm out here on the road, doing 100 shows. And every cent I make, I'm sending back home.
Group
82university.com.